Hey guys, welcome to It's a Bronx Story.
Podcast by two lifelong Yankee fans about all things Yankees.
All right, so we're recording this a day late. Sorry, we were both really busy yesterday and just didn't have time with how early we had to get up today. So we'll just
Well, I
record
went to the
this.
game yesterday, so missed out on the Yoda bobblehead. So it was going to be a late record, so we just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah. So we'll record it before the game, upload it. It'll come out the first few innings of the game today. But so obviously we'll talk about the Orioles series. We'll talk about signing Matt Carpenter, calling up Manny Benuelos, the killer bee, and we'll also talk about some other stuff like the starting pitching situation we have now with Schmidt and JP Sears and
Mhm.
all of the injuries that we're having. Talk about all that stuff. Nothing of the like broader MLB today. I don't think a ton has really happened since we last recorded. So it'll just be a Yankees episode, which I'm sure not a lot of you will complain about. Uh, but yeah, so to kick it off, we'll start with game one of the Orioles series. What are some of
So
your
it was
thoughts?
I mean, we said Cole versus Lyles. We expect the Yankees to just take this, and Cole has been so good lately. I know he had that kind of a blemish against the Orioles last start, but you figured revenge game, and then he'll just shut them out. Like I was expecting like 7 innings, 2 runs max.
Yeah, yeah, I was same thing. I think last episode I called like seven and a third shutout and like 12 strikeouts, which I was close on the strikeouts and I was close on the
Hmm.
innings pitched. He pitched 8 innings and had 11 strikeouts, which
Yeah.
if you tell someone those two things alone and nothing else, you're like, oh,
Hmm.
he must have had a great start. But it was one inning that got him, and it was such a weird start because
Yeah.
he was so dominant for 7 innings of that, and like he gave up a solo home run at one point, which was a porch job and like a pitch out of the strike zone. It's kind of just he got like you can't really do much about it.
Mhm.
But that one inning, they were just all over it. They kept hitting a lot of their hits were pitches outside of the strike zone. Like he
Yeah.
he hung one slider, I think, to Austin Hayes, but that was it. Like everything else, they were hitting pitches out of the strike zone.
Yeah. It was really the third inning that was his bugaboo. Like after he looked so dominant the first 2 innings that like we were texting, was like, "Oh, Cole looks really good,"
Yeah,
and then that third inning just kind of lost it, and it kind of looked like he wasn't going to be out there for much longer. Just seeing that inning, but
yeah,
really settled down. He went 8 innings, which is crazy. You look at everything except for that one inning, and you're like, "Wow, he really had a good night." But that one inning. Wow.
yeah, and like it's baseball. Like there's only so much you can do. And I'll say it again. Like he wasn't making bad pitches even in that inning. Like
Hmm.
it, they were just hunting the fastball, and even if it was out of the strike zone, they were swinging and they were just getting hits. There were
Yeah.
a few hard hit balls, but it wasn't like he was
Hmm.
just throwing fastballs right down the middle or anything. It was such a bizarre outing by
Yeah.
such a. The Orioles aren't a great offensive team, but
Yeah. The Yankees took the early lead, Judge continuing, his hot hitting,
yeah,
he wants to get paid. He leads off with a home run. And then I think Trevino also got an RBI single, maybe an RBI double. But we're up 2-0 in the third, and we're just like already in my mind, I'm like, okay, pack it up, pack it in. We got the W. Like Cole's on the mound. He has his runs.
yeah,
There's nothing stopping us.
yeah, and he gave up those 4 runs, and it was just kind of like what just happened. Like
Yeah.
it such a weird starting pitch performance, and Judge
Hmm.
got a second home run that game, which
Hmm.
a 2 run shot to tie the game up, and we are like, oh, nice, like Judge just tied up the game, we got this, and then Cole let up that porch job solo home run the next inning,
Hmm.
and we lost the lead again. But it was the sixth inning at that point. I was thinking like, all right, I mean it's the Orioles, we can come back,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
it just didn't happen, and a lot of it was like Gonzalez had just terrible at bats. Gonzalez ended the game with a ground ball double play,
Hmm.
with Rizzo coming up to bat next,
Hmm.
and the top of the order. Hicks, it says on the box score he has 0 left on base, but I'm pretty sure Hicks did something bad that game. I don't remember exactly what it was, but there's a chance if Hicks played, he did something bad. Um,
I remember Rizzo making an error, and that was the game after he didn't make the scoop. So the
yeah,
Yankees were already we lost we got swept in the doubleheader, so we have a 2 game losing streak, and this pushed it now to 3 games. First time we lost 3 games in a row, so
yeah,
that's not good. But coming off that, Rizzo didn't make a scoop, and if he makes that scoop, we probably would have gotten out of the inning against the White Sox unscathed and probably could have won the game. So
yeah,
it was annoying. So it was just continuing there. So he just made an error, and you're like, come on, especially since we're already losing 4-2.
yeah.
Annoying.
Yeah, I mean, but Garrett Cole going 8 innings still that game was it's kind of
100.
testament to who
Yeah.
Garrett Cole is as a pitcher. Like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of pitchers in the league, if you give up 4 runs in the third inning, it's kind of just like
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna fall apart after that and not
Mm-hmm.
go much more
Yeah.
length than that. But
Yeah.
Garrett Cole hunkered down and shut them down for the most part and got through 8.
110 pitches through
Yeah,
8. So you like to see that. And the Yankees bullpen situation now, Lausiga is on the IL. I don't know if we told you that last time we record. I don't think so
no,
because he was just
that was
placed.
during the
What?
Orioles series. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. So our bullpen isn't. It's still really good, but it doesn't have that length that it used to now.
yeah, yeah. And Chapman's hurt. Chad Green's done for the year. It's we've hit 3 of our top like 5 or 6 guys have gone on the IL in the last
Mm-hmm.
5 days. So
Yeah.
that's tough. And then going into game 2, we have Monty starting. So of course we're probably not going to score any runs while he's in the game. Which it's just kind of what happens with Monty. But I mean, we did score 4 runs off Zimmerman
Mm-hmm.
in this game. So we did give Monty some run support, and he only gave up 2 runs. And like he looked pretty good for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then King comes in, and we were just like, okay, like this is gonna be fine. Like we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
at that point we're winning 4-2.
You
Or no,
expect him to
no, it
just
was 2-1 at that point. Yeah, we expect King to just shut down the Orioles lineup and
kind of bridge to whoever's closing,
yeah.
probably Clay Holmes. But I expected him to go 2 innings, potentially even 3 innings, and just get the save himself by going 3 innings. But that did not happen.
Yeah, he gave up a 3-run home run, and was that to Odor? Yeah, that was to Odor.
Yep.
I mean, as soon as Odor came up in that situation, I was like, well, I mean, this is going to be a 3-run home run. It's just
Mm-hmm.
this is how these games have gone recently,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly what happened. It was a short porch home run again. The short porch kind of killed us this series, but I mean, props to the Yankees. They followed that up, losing the lead by scoring 2 runs
Mm-hmm.
and tying it back up.
Yeah.
Uh, was this is the game? Yeah, Glaber had 2 home runs this game.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, that was huge. He had a home run in the 7th inning to bring us within 1, and then I believe was it Trevino
It was
yeah, it was
Trevino.
Trevino that got the RBI to tie the game in
Mm-hmm.
the inning.
Yep.
So that was huge, and we were able to bridge to the end of the game with Litke and Clay Holmes, um, to get us. Wait, yeah, yeah, Litke and Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes pitched the 8th inning to keep it tied, so we had a chance to take the lead in the 8th, I believe, and then Wandy pitched the 9th and had a clean inning. Well, he gave up a hit, but he didn't allow a run. And we were unable to win in the 9th, which I believe that was the inning that they walked Judge. It was either that or the 8th inning when Judge was up and they
It
walked him.
was. I think it was the 8th.
Yeah. Okay, so I think in the 9th there were just like strikeouts and it was the bottom of the order.
In the
So
10th, with the runners, with you get the ghost runners. Aaron Hicks, he's already on like thin ice. He gets thrown out at home. It wasn't really his fault, but it was
yeah,
just another thing just to say, God damn it, Hicks. Like,
yeah.
it was,
Oh,
yeah.
the ninth inning, I think Hicks had a chance to
Oh, he
win the
struck
game
out.
and he struck
He
out.
struck out swinging. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. That's why he was starting the
yeah.
inning at second. Yeah, that's right.
That's what happened. Yeah, and I think was I don't know, but yeah. So that we go to extras. We put in Clark Schmidt.
Hmm.
He pitches a good 10th inning. We don't score in the bottom of the 10th, like Jatinder said. Hicks got thrown out at home, and then in the top of the 11th, it was just ghost runner shenanigans for the Orioles.
Hmm.
They bunted over to third base, I believe, and then
He grounded out,
yeah,
but
no,
he
he
did move.
grounded it to Marwin Gonzalez, but Marwin didn't field the ground ball, so the runner scored. IKF with a
Yeah,
heads up backup got him out at first base at least,
yeah.
uh, but they scored a run off of complete ghost runner shenanigans. They didn't have a hit. They
Hmm.
bunted and then got an error.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but luckily in the bottom of the 11th, IKF came up with two outs, I believe, at that point, or
No, I
maybe it
think
was
it
still
was
one.
one out. I think it was one out because we had the runner on second, and then I think Andujar struck out or he grounded out.
Yep,
Just couldn't get the runner over.
yep, yeah,
Oh
and
no, he
then
did. He did get the runner over. He did because it was Glaber on second. He flew out, and Glaber ran to
yes,
third, and
yeah,
then IKF had him.
yeah, and then I
Yeah,
remember
that's right.
texting in the chat. I was like, if IKF doesn't get this, I have zero faith in Marwin Gonzalez. But luckily,
Hmm.
IKF did come through, got the single, got
Hmm.
the run to score, and then Marwin Gonzalez, I forget what he did, but
He got a single.
yep, yeah, and he got a single. So that brings up Jose Trevino, where a single wins the game, and he wraps a liner down the line to win the game. Which it was his father's birthday, who passed away um, in 2013. So it was already a really special day for him,
Hmm.
and he was able to get the walk off. So I mean, I love Jose Trevino at this point. Like he's such a good guy with great energy, and on
Hmm.
top of that, like he's come through clutch
Yeah,
multiple
good.
times, and his defense is just awesome.
Great framer. He's
Yeah,
hitting well. I think Ryan texted me. I was like, I think he should just have the everyday job at this point,
yeah.
right?
There's no reason to be splitting with Hickey when Trevino's a better defender. He's hitting
Hmm.
better. Like I think catchers or pitchers have better ERA when Trevino starts. Like
Hmm.
everything points to Trevino just being better. And Trevino has like
Hmm.
a 99 WRC plus, or at least he did after game two, and that's good for a catcher.
Hmm.
Like the average
Yeah,
catcher has like a 70 something.
yeah, yep.
So he's not hitting well in terms of like across the league
But
necessarily,
for
but like for a
catchers,
catcher, it's good
yeah,
offense with elite defense.
yep,
And Hicks is only or Higgy is only like 46th percentile in framing, so he's not even doing good at that.
yeah.
So and he's not throwing people out. He's not doing anything. He's not hitting.
Which is a shame, his
Yeah.
big spring training, and you're like, he'll carry it over into the season. None of that
Nope.
just hasn't translated. But that was a big win for the Yankees to just stop the slide. And then it could have been really bad. We have the lead, you give it up, and you're already on a losing streak. Like that could have just snowballed,
Yeah.
right? Like I was thinking, I was like, don't let us get swept by the Orioles. Don't let us get swept by the Orioles. But the Yankees won game two, and then now it wasn't announced who was starting, but by that point, it was announced that JP Sears will be getting the call up.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, we talked about this last episode, and I was volleying for or whatever. I wanted JP Sears to be the starter of this game, and I thought that's who it would be because he's
Mm-hmm.
been absolutely dominating AAA.
Mm-hmm.
We find I didn't know what his pitch count would be. We were told 65 was what he pitched last game, so 80s is kind of the max he was
Yeah,
going to go.
yeah.
Knowing that, I think you're really happy with if he can go 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Even four is like you're okay with that if that's what his
Mm-hmm.
pitch count is for his MLB debut as a starter. Like
Yeah,
you got to expect him to be all amped up and
yeah.
being a little bit wild at first. And that's exactly what happened. He doesn't walk people much at all, but he walked a couple people in the first few innings of this game. Uh, he was able to get out of it despite poor defense overall. I think there
Mm-hmm.
were a couple misplays for him in the beginning of the game that could have gotten him out of innings quicker. but he
Hmm.
battled through it and he was able to go 5 innings, which if your pitch count's 80, that's excellent. And he gave up no
Yeah.
runs,
Yeah.
and he only walked 2 people. Like
Yeah.
we were talking earlier about how JP Sears, and like this is what we want to talk about with our starter situation. Like JP Sears seems like he's ready to make the next step. Like
Hmm.
obviously I don't expect him to come in and be a Cy Young candidate, but like
Yeah.
the main thing that you usually deal with these guys is like we saw with Heel last year, they walk a lot of people and that gets them in trouble. And like Heel was able to like skirt around it for his first few games. Like he was walking people, but he didn't give up the big hits. And then you saw towards the end of the year, he started to give up those big hits and wasn't as lucky.
Yeah.
And the walks came back to bite him. But like with Sears, if you have good control and you're not going to walk people, that like he has the stuff. It's
Yeah.
just, but the issue with the Yankees, we have 5 starters with below a 3.5 ERA. So
Yeah.
like,
That's crazy.
there's
It's
no
insane.
there's no real spot for him unless someone gets injured, and you deal with the difficult situation. I guess we can return to this conversation after we finish talking about the game.
Mhm.
So at that point, after he had pitched 5 innings, we're up 2-0, thanks to a I think a Judge double, and then
It was Miggy. Miggy got a single, and then brought in a run, and then he stole second, and then the catcher threw it
oh yeah,
away to score Glaber. So
mm-hmm.
that was all in the fourth inning, I think.
Yep,
Fourth or fifth. Okay.
yeah. Now I remember. Um, so yeah, I mean, watching Mickey get an RBI was just it's so
Hmm.
fun because like
Just
we
what he
definitely
used
have
to
missed
be.
him.
And it's
He was
like,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And if he can return to anything like that with the bat, then when Stanton's out, that's huge. And also
Hmm.
just having that bat as like a pinch hitter down the road is definitely something that will help out this team.
Yeah.
But that was all the offense the entire game. After
Mhm.
JP Sears, Marinaccio came in, pitched 2 shutout innings, got three
Looked really good,
strikeouts.
too.
Yep.
He looked really good as well.
Yeah, and we talked about how last time he was up, we said he's just not quite ready. It looks like he went
Hmm.
down to AAA, worked on some stuff. I
Hmm.
mean, it's the Orioles. We got to see him
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
to
The
make.
same thing goes with JP Sears.
Yeah.
It's his first start. It was against the Orioles, but you liked what you're seeing. Like he's not walking
Yeah.
guys. That's what you want to see. Like Heel, he kind of got had issues with the walks where you're like he's lucky to get out of those situations.
Hmm.
But Sears looked really good. Marianacho
Yep.
looked really good, and then we
And
brought Lutke in after.
yep, Licky pitched his point 2 innings.
Hmm.
And Castro closed out the inning for him.
Hmm.
Castro looked good for his one batter, and then we
Yeah,
sent
struck
in,
out the guy.
the just absolute shutdown. Clay Holmes is. I mean, he gave up that one run in the first appearance he had this year to like
Hmm.
he just got babbipped, but now it's like I was texting Jatinder earlier or the other day. Some of his metrics are just like absolutely ridiculous. His
Hmm.
average launch angle is like negative 11 degrees. The average distance of his balls in play are like 45 feet, which is less than the pitcher's mound. So like everyone's just hitting everything into the ground. People are barely elevating the ball against him. It's like 2016 Zach Britton. Um,
Also, talk about the barrel.
oh, there's been one barrel against him all year, and like
Insane.
40 something batted balls. There's been one barrel.
Yeah, 54,
That's
I think,
yeah
was the
that
stat, but that's insane. Like, that's insane.
and to think that we got him for Park, which was hot last year, but he looks like
Mhm.
a career AAA player now. And
Yeah.
I mean, Diego Castillo seems like he could be good, but like
Hmm.
Clay Holmes is a top
Way
three
more
reliever in
valuable.
baseball
Yeah.
right now.
And
Like,
also, Castillo wouldn't be doing anything. Well, I guess maybe now with the injuries, maybe they'll
yeah,
call him up and give him a shot. But, like, realistically, he doesn't really have a future on the Yankees
yeah,
team.
yeah. So that was, I mean, a lot of people, including us, were kind of upset about that trade when it
Yeah.
happened because Clay
Hmm.
Holmes
He
wasn't
had a
good with the
5 ERA. He had
Pirates.
a
Yeah,
5 ERA.
but now, and like anyone that says, oh, like haha, like I thought it was a good trade at the time. No, you didn't. There's no way you looked at Clay Holmes and
Mhm.
was like, yeah, that's a
Mhm.
great trade. But
Yeah.
like sure you could have
If
been
if anything,
optimistic.
yeah, if anything, you were just like, it was a trade. Like you don't
Yeah.
really care about it either way, because
Yeah.
you probably just thought it was a depth move. But there's no way you were like, oh yeah, we're getting the next
Yeah,
closer.
we're getting Zach Britton 2.0 here.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's what he's doing is ridiculous. Like if this
Mhm.
holds up for the entire, like he's not going to have one earned run the entire season, but like if he continues this dominance, like we haven't had a relief pitcher like this since Mariano Rivera. Like
Yeah.
Betances was ridiculously good in 2016, I believe was the year he was really good.
Mhm.
Andrew Miller was really good. Chapman was great for a while, but like Clay Holmes is like actually unhittable right now.
Yeah, he's shut down. And the
He's
thing
not
is with
walking
all of those
anyone.
guys, yeah, that's the thing. Is like all those guys were like filthy dominant, but they would have their stretch. Not Miller so much.
Yeah.
Miller was more consistent, but like Betances, like you'll see him like walk some guys and get into trouble. Chapman would do the same thing. Like it you know.
Yeah, like Chapman, even at his best, was always a roller coaster ride when he pitched.
Hmm.
Same thing with Betances. Clay Holmes is like, he comes
Hmm.
in the game and I'm just like, all right, we're getting out of this inning without any runs. Like,
Yeah, people
I
just
haven't
don't
felt
hit
this
him.
confident in a reliever since Mariano.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I hope it doesn't change.
Hmm.
Obviously, we saw with Mike King, he's become much more human recently.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Clay Holmes has been absolutely lights out since last year, and just more time with Matt Blake seems to have made him even better.
Hmm.
So,
So
yeah.
if Chapman comes back, do you put Chapman back
No.
into the closer spot?
There's if Chapman is the closer again when he comes back,
Hmm.
I'm going to be livid because
Yeah.
as much as I don't believe necessarily that like you need a one person as your closer per se, like
Hmm.
it it does help to have someone
Hmm.
that like if it's a tie game in the ninth or like if we're
You
winning in
kind
the
of
ninth
know your
inning,
role, right? You know
yeah,
your role. You can mentally prepare for it. I know you should always be ready for any situation, but if
yeah,
you know, hey, this is my inning, you could prepare for it.
yeah. And Clay Holmes is he's just better than Chapman by
Yeah.
a landslide. Like let Chapman pitch some like seventh innings, some sixth innings, just to make sure he's good again because he's
Hmm.
just been downright horrible recently.
Yeah.
Wandy Peralta's looked great. Hopefully King gets it back, and when hopefully Loiza's injury isn't serious and it's just an IL stint. Same thing with Chapman, and they can come back and
Hmm.
regain their dominance. Um, but like we have a closer that could definitely do the job for the rest of the
Hmm.
year.
Yeah. I'm excited. But yeah, so we win 2-0. We win the series 2-1. So you got to win those series. But before when the Yankees lost the first game to the Orioles, we were 7-4 against them, right? So now
Yeah,
we're 9-4.
yeah, it's still much worse than I'd want to be at this point in the season. Like we
Mhm.
need to not drop many more games against them the rest of the year. It's
Well, what is
it's
that? That's like a little less than 700. I mean, good, but yeah, it should be better, right? Like you
yeah, like
really
we
want to beat
can
up.
only lose one more game to them this year, unless the Orioles like are actually like a pretty decent team this year, which it's too
Mhm.
early to really tell. But if we're
Mhm.
at like the All Star break and they're still kind of hovering around like close to 500, then that's a whole different story. Like
Yeah.
if they're not a 100 loss team anymore. Um, but yeah, ideally we'd like to win a lot more of these. But kind of how we just talked about the bullpen. Now I guess we can get back into Sears and what we're gonna do with them, like him and Schmidt.
Mhm.
They're both clearly have the stuff. Schmidt hasn't been walking people either. They
Mhm.
want them to be starters. It's getting to this weird situation where like you don't want the talent to just sit down at AAA the rest of the year. Like you can't
Mhm.
just sure an injury is probably going to happen at some point to one of the starters, but
Yeah.
like if it's not long term, then sure they'll get one or two starts, but like it's getting to the point where like, do you want? Should we just have them pitch in the bullpen for multiple innings and try and keep them as stretched out as we can, but get their talent
Mm-hmm.
at the major
Here's
league level?
here's my thought process. I think the Yankees definitely want to have them stretched out, but I think you could have them in the bullpen and for now, and then you're going to want to limit Sevy, Tyone, uh, Monty's innings. I know Monty's now 2 years removed, but
Well, I think specifically, I think you're going to want to limit Sevy and Nestor. Nestor's never pitched
oh
more than
yeah, that's
90
true.
something innings.
Yeah,
Tyone and Monty, they're going to get limited a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be like a
that much.
150 cap. I think they can probably go as long as they feel good. They can probably
Hmm.
just
Okay. But I figured those are the guys you would be trying to. There are people that you're going to try to limit their innings, and then I think that's where you'll see Sears and Clark just kind of step in and like fill that role for them, just have those spot starts.
yeah,
So that's probably why they want them in the minors for now, just making sure that they're stretched out for when that opportunity comes. But man, they're really forcing the Yankees' hands right now. Just the way they're pitching is like they're too valuable to just keep them in the minors.
yeah, yeah. It's
And while our bullpen situation is like looking the way it is, just everyone on the IL, it makes sense to just keep them in the bullpen for now, just
yeah,
because we need to lengthen our bullpen. But I think Sears and Schmidt out of the bullpen is still really good, but they are starters.
yeah, yeah. Like King has been in the bullpen for a few years, so like
Mm-hmm.
he's not the same situation. Like he could start, but like
Mm-hmm.
at this point, he's kind of been established as like a bullpen guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too late to change it, but like Clark Schmidt and JP Sears come into this year as starters. Like
Yeah.
they were never like, oh, we'll have them in the bullpen. Like maybe they'll start at some point, but no, they're like
Mm-hmm.
coming into the year they are starters. They're going to keep them that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then kind of another bullpen piece that we just got today, Manny Benuelos was called up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great story. Like
Mm-hmm.
way back in like 2012 or 13, it was all about the killer bees with Betances and Benuelos, and
Yeah.
there was one more I think that
Bracton.
yeah. But now he's made his way back. We saw him in spring training; he looked good, and he
Mm-hmm.
finally made his way onto the roster with some of the recent injuries. Um,
Was he the Yankees' top prospect, or was he like one of their top? I feel like
I
he
think he's
was their
one
top
of them.
prospect.
I I didn't pay enough attention to prospects back then
Mm-hmm.
to know if he was their top prospect, but
He was highly touted,
yes,
though,
one hundred
along with
percent.
the other two that you mentioned.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so we got some bullpen help, and jeez, we also just called up or just signed Matt Carpenter to a
Mm-hmm.
deal. He's playing today. He wasn't originally, but then they scratched Hicks with hamstring tightness, which who cares? I don't want Hicks playing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt Carpenter is DHing today. Judge is leading off, which is interesting. Uh, Not positive why they didn't lead off Rizzo, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay. But
So Ryan, just sorry to cut you off, but I just saw this tweet. Zach Britton is at the Trop, according to
yeah,
Aaron Boone. He will throw a bullpen on Tuesday. Believes he'll be an option this year. So that's kind of interesting. I don't
yeah,
know. I written Britton off completely for this year, but
and
that's
I
an
think
interesting note.
that's why Britain was never like DFA'd
Mm-hmm.
because I mean if he wasn't pitching this year, there's no reason not to DFA him because like
Yeah,
he's not
yeah.
signed next year. But they must have been like, all right, he's probably gonna pitch this year. Now we're
It
seeing
must have been a good possibility, right?
yeah,
Because when they released, Clint Frazier and Tyler Wade, we figured why wouldn't you do that for Britain? That was like the obvious choice to
yeah,
cut.
yeah. But now we're seeing that he's probably gonna pitch this year if things go well. Not for a few months probably, but having him back will be another helpful piece because like he wasn't elite last year, but like he's still a good. Well, we don't know now because he was injured for
Mhm.
like Tommy John and everything, but like
You figure he would be a good
yeah,
piece, right? Like
like a good guy
solid
to pitch
depth
in the
piece.
sixth
Yeah.
inning and like a close game. Like you can feel comfortable pitching him. He's not going to be the eighth inning guy that he was a few years ago, uh, but that'll be another nice piece to add. Matt Carpenter, like I said, is just it's a kind of a flyer signing. He's had a good year with the Texas AAA team so far, but that's AAA, and he's been horrible at the major league level for the last 3 years. So we'll see what comes out of that. I don't expect much, but if he could return to being a good hitter, that'd be cool.
Yep. So
What is there
so
anything
I guess
else?
so I guess this series we're playing the Rays, a 4-game series. So first time we're playing them, and this is the Rays are in second place. So this is the team we want to beat up on right now. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess you always want to beat up on your division rivals, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're 4.5 games up against the Rays. This series is going to be the real test to see if we're real or not. I
Yeah.
think, right?
Yeah. I agree. Um, and I just blanked. Okay. Yeah. You can go. You can start going into the
Yeah. So
matchups.
So the first game we have Cortez going against Yarbrough, and that's a game that you really like. I don't think Yarbrough's that great. I think advantage you'll give it to the Yankees, but we are banged up coming into this series. We don't have Stanton. We don't have all those pitchers. You know, it's. I think it's. You would think the Rays have the upper hand, but I think just
Mm-hmm.
this game, Yarbrough versus Cortez, I like our chances. Friday, it's Tyone versus Jeffrey Springs, and he's actually really, really good. If
Yeah.
you haven't been watching, like he's really like you might not know the name, but he's pitched really well. Tyone has as well, but I think this is probably a wash in my opinion. Like I don't think
Mm-hmm.
any team has the advantage that game.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, we have our worst pitcher by ERA, Garrett Cole, with a 3.31 ERA. Crazy. Against a former friend in Corey Kluber. So he hasn't pitched well lately, but you figure, he has something in the tank, right?
I'd give us the advantage there, though.
Oh, yeah. Cole versus Kluber for sure.
Yeah.
Cole against anyone, maybe against DeGrom,
Maybe not against
but
this next guy you're about to mention, though.
Yeah. And then the series finale, Sebi versus Shane McClanahan. Wow, has
Mc-
he been
McClanahan has
great?
been unreal.
Hmm.
Uh, that's going to be a difficult game. But Sevi showed against Kopech. Sevi loves the big games.
Yeah.
If anyone, I don't have much more faith in any pitcher on this team to pitch
Hmm.
that game and shut the Rays down than I do Sevi.
Hmm.
Uh, he just
Well,
loves the moment. So
yeah.
it's going to be tough. McClanahan, we're going to strike out a lot.
Hmm.
McClanahan is disgusting. He's top of the league in strikeouts. I don't know if he's in first, but he's up there.
Hmm.
He's been disgusting this year. So I think we have the pitching advantage in 2 of the 4 games, and I think
Hmm.
they have the advantage in 1 of the 4 and a draw in the Springs and Tyone game.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to be a close series. We don't have the
Yeah.
easy win
Yeah.
ever
I
against the
this
Rays.
I could see us losing 3 of 4. I could see us winning 3 of 4.
Yeah,
I don't think either team gets a sweep,
yeah, and
but
luckily
it would
they
be
don't.
really awesome. It would be really awesome
Luckily
if we get it.
they don't have Brandon Lau right now. They have
Oh
he's
yeah, that's
hurt,
right.
and they have Paderas starting, which
Hmm.
Brandon Lau killed us last year, if I remember. Or at least in a few games, he had
Hmm.
multiple home runs. They don't have Joey Wendell
Also,
anymore
they
or
also
Austin
don't have.
Meadows.
Yep. So
So their offense really isn't that good anymore.
yeah.
Like we should be able to shut them down, but it's
Hmm.
as always their pitching is good. So
Yeah.
and
And the
our
Yankees
offense
lineup.
hasn't been on fire
Yeah.
lately, and it's hurt. So
Yeah. Who were we hitting fourth the other day? Was it IKF?
no, I think Glaber was. always
Oh,
fourth, but
and
fifth
then
was,
IKF was
yeah,
okay.
we had Florial hitting fifth at some point, I think.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's real
Mm.
bad. We need DJ back. We need Donaldson back.
We need Stanton.
Yeah, yes. We need Judge to keep judging.
It's crazy. I still can't believe how many home runs do you think he's gonna hit this series? I know
This
it's gonna be tough
series,
against. Yeah, I know it's gonna be
uh,
tough with these Rays pitchers, but
I'd go with two. I think he's going to hit
two.
one off McClanahan.
Okay.
I think we're going to score like 2 runs that game, and one of them's going to be a Judge home run to give us the lead.
Okay.
Sevy's
We'll
going to throw
see.
6 shutout innings or 7.
I like. I like it. So I think we never know. This series is gonna be the real test for the Yankees. You know, if we go out and we win this series, I think we have a really good shot of winning the division. I know it's early. It's only one series. We have so many more games, but
Mm-hmm.
if we sweep them, 100%, we're winning
Yeah, I
the
mean, if we
division.
sweep the Rays, the division, it's over. Like,
Hmm.
this isn't the first month of the season anymore. We're basically, after this series, we will be 2 months into the season. If we have like a 7+ game lead 2 months into the season,
Hmm.
unless, I mean, obviously anything can happen with injuries and all that
Hmm.
stuff, but if the team stays relatively healthy, I can't see a way where they don't win the division.
Yeah. Yep. So very big matchup here. Let's. I know the Rays have been eyeing this series the whole year. So and just like the Yankees. So
Yeah.
let's see.
Yeah, it's about to start in 1 minute from now.
Yep.
It's a 6:40 game, so we'll wrap this up here. I'll get this episode out for you guys. I'm sure not many people are going to be listening to it during the game, but you'll have it ready for your drive to work tomorrow, wherever you like to listen. And as always, if you enjoyed the episode, leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen. If you're watching on YouTube, like, rating, and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. You can always reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram at the Bronx Story. And as always, let's go Yanks.
Let's go Yanks. Let's play ball. Let's sweep the Rays.
Let's go, guys. See ya.
Bye.